Oh, hello. What's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Good Days Only podcast with me, your boy, OP. And today, episode 26. Thank you for tuning in. If this is the first time that you're tuning in, welcome to the podcast, to the GDO fam. This episode is going to be a little different. I went down some rabbit holes while looking into the background of this roaster here. That kind of prompted a little history lesson. So we're going to dive into a little bit more of the history a little later on in the podcast. The history of you know what? I'm not even going to give it away. Just stay tuned if you are into random facts that maybe might be useful or might not be useful for you, but I don't know. It was pretty interesting. So, let's just get into it. Let's get into the caffeine breakdown for episode number 26. All right. And here we are, the caffeine breakdown. Right here, we sipping on a nice cup of Joe. They might have some special beans over here at this coffee roaster or something, because this is really delicious, I really enjoyed the tasting notes here that we got from them. But anyways, this coffee roaster, we'll get into that in a sec. This coffee roaster has been around a couple of decades here in the Seattle area. They've expanded, opened up a couple spots around here in different neighborhoods over the years. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about, drum roll please, Victrola coffee roasters. Hell yeah, throwing down. They've been throwing down for a minute. Let's read a little bit of about their background, their story here. A little background statement from Victrola. Our story on their website, which is victrolacoffee.com. Check them out. From the beginning, Victrola, named for the popular home phonograph or phonograph. I was having this discussion earlier. I say phonograph, but probably phonograph. I don't know. Okay, let's start this over. From the beginning, and I'm going to say phonograph. From the beginning, Victrola, named for the popular home phonograph of the 1920s, embraced the liveliness, exuberance, and fun of the jazz era. Okay, I like me a little smooth jazz. I used to rock smooth jazz radio station on my car back in the day all the time, and when people would get in, they'd be like, they thought I was playing a joke on them. But yo, it's something about the brass, something about like a nice saxophone. It just gets to you. An alto sax, dude. But let's see. So in our popular imagination, the Roaring Twenties represent excess, prohibition, flappers, and speakeasies. Been to a speakeasy or two in my day. All right, and they're pretty cool. Although sometimes they're really hard to find or get into, which I guess that was the point. Anyways, I'll stop. Let's just read this story. All right. The era's fingerprints mark much of what we do, from our passion for live vintage jazz to our cafe's unique architectural charm. And that's true. When I went into at least one of the spots where I went, I didn't notice it at the time, but now that I'm reading this, yeah, it did give me a little bit of a 1920s vibe, something that you might see in like Peaky Blinders, around that time. Let's see. So when Victrola opened in 2000, so they've been around 21 years. This is their third decade. Dang, that's crazy that they're starting. Right? No, 10, 20. Yeah, well, the first 10, the second 10 to get to 20. So this is their third decade, right? No, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. When Victrola opened in 2000, the little 15th Avenue neighborhood had a big need. The community not only lacked great coffee, it also had few great spaces to hang out or to meet friends. Damn, dude. A little bit of shade right there, throwing it at the opposition. Lacked great coffee. A few great spaces to hang out or meet friends. The cafe was so popular after only a year we doubled our space. Dang, taking over the storefront next door. In 2003, we took a huge step and began roasting our own coffee in the tiny back room of our cafe on 15th. Nice. Taking matters into your own hands. In the cramped back room, we spent countless hours experimenting with roast profiles and blends for our espresso. Which, hey, espresso? Some might not like espresso too much, but it gets you going. It's a little bit and it packs a punch. I like that. Early on, we committed ourselves to the task of sourcing, roasting, and preparing the finest coffees available. Since then, innovation has marked our roasting operations and coffee preparation. In 2007, we cut the ribbon on Victrola's Showcase Cafe, located in an old 1920s auto row building just off downtown at the base of Capitol Hill. What? Dude, I think that's the one that I went to. Complete with our roastery, training facility, and cupping room. This beautiful cafe is an exceptional place to learn more about coffee at a tasting, watch the roasting process, or simply enjoy a great book. In 2009, Victrola acquired a great neighborhood cafe just down from the library and the light rail station on Beacon Hill. This cute little space reflects the comfort, passion for quality, quirkiness, and community feel that characterizes all of Victrola's cafes. Now, as Victrola moves into a third decade, that's what I'm talking about. So the first 10 would be 1, 10 to 20 would be 2, 20 to 30 would be the third decade. That makes sense, because usually you would think like 30 would be the third decade, right? But that'd be the end of 3 decades. So you'd say like after 3 decades. Wow. Nice. We look forward to new opportunities to fuel our passion and show our exuberance. We're actively seeking out new neighborhoods to share our great coffee and community space with, new partners to serve our coffee, and new and deepen relationships with farmers and producers. Nice. There's a lot of tangents that we went on right there. I'm a bit caffeinated. I'm gonna take a little sip. Let me get a little sip right now of this Victrola coffee roaster. What am I talking about here that I'm sipping on though? You know, because they got a couple blends. Their espresso is fire. But today we got none other than their single origin. We sipping on the Democratic Republic of the Congo Muungano Co-op bean, dude. That was a little bit of a mouthful, but I don't know. I also don't know if I pronounce. I think it's Muungano. It's Muungano, cooperative. And dude, this is fire. I love this. This is good. This is really good. As you could tell, I'm caffeinated. This is 1 cup. Hey, ready to get it going. I might be getting a little sweaty here in a second, but the tasting notes that they say here for the roaster's notes rather, the Muungano cooperative with 4,230 members is divided into 16 sectors, each with their own cherry collection site, where harvested coffee cherries are delivered to each day directly after harvest. From there, they are transported to one of the cooperative's 4 wet mills, each named for the new municipality it resides in. To transport the coffee to the dry mill in Goma, some members must deliver these cherries by large human-powered boats, navigating the shores of Lake Kivu. Ooh, this trip takes a day from Kinyazir, maybe. The advantages of belonging to the cooperative are various. One major role that the Muungano cooperative plays in the daily lives of its members is providing transportation for those that need it. Some members live upwards of 25 miles away from the farm they work at. Okay, so they got like some sort of transport system that they help their team out. That's cool. Staying true to their namesake, the Muungano, togetherness in Swahili. Togetherness. I like that. Togetherness in Swahili. Employs the gals. Nice. Gender Action Learning System program, which focuses on how to work together to achieve unified goals, identifying opportunities and threats they might face, and planning out how to address them. Half of the co-op's members are women. Equality, that's what I'm talking about. Way to go, Muungano Cooperative. And dude, This is if you're ever around a Victrola coffee cafe, might want to sneak in there, pick one of these bags up, and you get a free cup of coffee with your purchase. When I went and picked this bag up, they were like, the person that was helping me was like, okay, and which coffee would you like? And I was like, I just bought this one. What you mean? Like, we talked about it and like I purchased it, and she was like, oh no, you get a free cup of coffee with a purchase of a bag. I was like, oh, that's dope. And I forget which one I tried, but it was also good. It was not this one, but it was a different one. So couple of incentives there for you to go and check them out at one of the cafes. But dude, some people have to navigate the shores of Lake Hivu. Takes a day, so they gotta take a trip for an entire day if you're gonna pick something up that they did at the dry mill. So take that into consideration when purchasing. The price on this is like that's probably why a little bit, and it's just a great bean. It's like, I think it was like $18 for a 12-ounce bag. So, not too bad. Specialty coffee. It's right around that range. So price point is, I would say, average. But let's move a little bit down into the roast type and the in the coffee here. So there's actually no indication anywhere on the bag or anything about the roast that we got here. But based on the look and the feel of the bean and how it grinds up, I would say like a light to medium roast. Medium body there, real easy to sip on. It's got a little like a sweetness on the initial sip. Let me get a little sip right here. Yeah, there's like a little bit of a hint of sweetness, excuse me, on that initial sip. Nice, like bright, like flavor. Nice, just nice and bright. I don't know. It tastes like, you know what it tastes like? It tastes like how it feels like when you wake up on a nice sunny day, but you don't know it's nice and sunny outside until you open the door, and then that first ray of sunshine hits your face and you're like, ooh, wow, it's sunny, nice. That's what I'm getting here. It's like a nice bright flavor. That's what I mean by bright. All right, it's like getting hit by that first ray of sunshine. Pairs well with some tacos de frijol, dude. To be honest, I had some just some good old corn tortillas with some beans right there, man. Just put that together, make yourself a little bean taco. That's what tacos de frijol are for all my non-Spanish speaking folk out there. And something about probably the savory from the bean and the almost sweet from the coffee. It just mixes well on the palate. And it was a very delicious meal. But, I don't know. These lighter roasts be hitting. And again, I don't know if it's actually a light to medium roast. That's just what I would deduce from the, experience, I guess, with looking at so many beans over the last year. But these lighter roasts, they be hitting. If you guys have been tuning in since the first episode, I used to be very into my dark roasts, dark roasts and dark roasts only. The darker the better, but damn, this is delicious. Let's talk about a little bit about how I brewed this one. Did the 3 different ways: the pour over, the drip, and the French press. I think the biggest difference was the drip. It tasted a little bit more like muted. Why did I enunciate the T so much? Yeah, dude, this coffee's got me on one. What the heck? Muted, if that makes any sense. So it wasn't as bright, it wasn't as bright. It was like if the sun just hit you all of a sudden, just got covered by a cloud, It's like that sunny morning, you walk outside and you're like, oh, it's sunny, and then it instantly gets covered by a cloud. That's what it felt like with the drip. But the French press and the drip, or the French press and the pour over, were both pretty equal, actually, in the flavor profile. Didn't see much of a change there, but it was not muted. So, I felt like you could get a little bit more. And again, my palate is not as eclectic as some of you might have. So, I didn't really get too much of the sun-dried tomatoes that they say. The golden raspberry, let's see, jasmine, golden raspberry, and sun-dried tomato. That's what the tasting notes are from the Victrola coffee roasting team. So sun-dried tomatoes, I don't know, but the golden raspberry for sure. I can see golden raspberry, and the jasmine maybe on the aroma a little bit, but the overall, I think my favorite would be in the pour over and the French press. They're equal, but again, that drip was just a little bit muted. And now let's get into the appearance and packaging, because they showed out right here. Bag, they showed out right here. They got a nice. It looks kind of like sunshine, actually. Their stand-up zipper pouch right here, with the resealable up at the top. Love it. And it looks like kind of like some sunshine, some rays of sunshine coming out from behind this, the classic Victrola. It's like a nice picture in the middle of the classic Victrola with the big horn there. And then the sunshine beams, that's what I'm going to call them, are like a light blue and a gray kind of mixed together. It looks very elegant. And we got the name right here across the front, and I thought it said Dr. Congo Mungano Co-op, but it was the Democratic Republic of the Congo, not Dr. Congo. I was like, why is the big D, big R? Which you guys will see this picture on the Instagram page. But the rest of the bag is just a sleek, that same kind of gray tone, and it's got their website here on the back, and it's just kind of got some designs on the sides. But overall, I like this bag, and that stand-up zipper pouch. That's what I'm talking about. And I think it's just like, oh, there we go. It wasn't even sealed. I didn't even seal the bag after using it. Oh, dang! What am I doing? But yeah, take a look at the picture. Let me know what you think. But got to show some love for that stand-up zipper pouch. Resealable. Love it. And again, just saying, I've been seeing a lot more of these. Maybe just because I'm buying more coffee. Yeah, that's probably it. But, dude, all in all, killer coffee. Delicious. Would definitely purchase again. And I think I was actually looking, when I went in there, I was looking for a different coffee. There's this coffee that's called, what's it called? I just found this out. Like a type of bean that is a pea berry. That's what it's called. Pea berry coffee. So it's a mutation that happens in the in coffee beans when they're still in the coffee cherry, that it makes so the bean itself, because usually there's like beans come in two inside of a cherry, right? And that's why they have like one flat side. So it's kind of like a peanut, right? If you would imagine how you pull a peanut back and then there's that one flat side and the other side is curved. And that's kind of how your coffee beans look. And so this, that's how like normal ones look. But I think it says, so about 5% of the world's coffee, I don't know who's taking those numbers, but that's what they say. You know what they say. And about 5% of the world's coffee, a bean is born an only child. Yeah, so it kind of curls up on itself, and there's only one bean in the cherry. So that's what I was looking for originally, because I had seen online that they had that, but it was out of season. So that's all right. We got this awesome bag right here instead. So maybe it was meant to be. Maybe it was meant to be. But all in all, delicious coffee. Check them out. Victrola Coffee Roasters. It's called, or online, their website is victrolacoffee.com. Victrola. I just love that word too. Victrola. Sounds very cool. Sounds like Victrola. It sounds like a secret password that you might use to like get into a speakeasy, maybe. Dang. Wonder if they have a speakeasy. That'd be cool. Anyways, I think I'm rambling a little bit here. So let's get into some more rambling and take a little dive here into a little history lesson. All right, let's move into that now. All right, and welcome to the little history lesson that we're going to do today. Just a little bit of the rabbit holes that I kind of went down, and I did a little bit more digging into the history of the Victrola, because specifically like the origins, and actually it was kind of, yeah, it's just a little history lesson. Let's get into it, because I had heard the word Victrola before, but I don't know if I actually, it's like one of those words that you don't actually know like what it is, but you could you're like, I know I've heard that before, but I don't know what it is. But I knew it was like something that was like a contraption that was used to play music. And I knew that it had the horn, but didn't really know anything else other than that. So when I started looking up, you go down the internet when you start looking into stuff, and go deep down some rabbit holes. And here, I'm just gonna hit y'all with a little lesson, a little history on the origins and kind of the progress of the Victrola. Again, maybe useless, but kind of cool information. So let's time travel. Back into the where were we? The late 1800s. Dude, what a time to be alive, huh? You imagine being alive in the 1800s right now with everything that we have. Like, that would be so insane to just like wake up all of a sudden and be in like 1885. What? Anyways, the origins of the Victrola come with the foundation for the Victor Talking Machine Company. That's where it all started. Back in the 1880s, a creative entrepreneur named Emil Berliner. And I realized when I was doing this that I have never seen Emil spelled out. And so I was like staring at this word for like, no shit, 10 minutes. I was like, how do you say that? At first I read it as Emily. It's Emile. And I was like, am I just like, I don't understand why I don't know how to pronounce this. And then I actually had to Google it, and it's pronounced Emil. So I would always think that Emil was like A-M-I-L. I don't know. Amel. That doesn't really make sense either. Anyways, Emil Berliner invented the mass production flat phonograph record. Phonograph or phonograph? I don't know again. I just kind of use them interchangeably. Go back and forth. I don't know. Tomato, right? So, and this even goes back to Thomas Edison. They talked about Thomas Edison inventing the cylinder phonograph 10 years earlier in 1877. But there was no practical way to mass duplicate his cylinders at that time. So this guy, the boy Emil invented the record as like most records that you would see today, the flat disc, which would allow, for mass production and just easier storage and like easier duplication of records and stuff. And so this guy was on this is like the origins of like, now we have speakers in our phones and like just like, Bluetooth speakers and speakers in your computer and your laptop and everything, where you could just play songs. That's crazy. You used to have to like go to some guy and buy this big ass contraption because there was no radio. There was like, back in the day, 1800s, dude, that's insane. So this guy teamed up with a different person. He went to somebody to kind of back him, to give him some money. And that guy's name was Eldridge Johnson. So He hooked up with his homie Eldridge Johnson, who owned a small shop, a machine shop, somewhere on the East Coast, and that's where it was, New Jersey. But then it ended up, Berliner had to leave because of something about the competition. Competitors were charging each other with patent infringements, it says here. Dishonest practices via seemingly endless stream of litigation. So it was just too much. And he was like, you know what? I'm outie. It says he was eventually forced out of the market in the U.S. and subsequently moved to Montreal, Canada. So he continued his production operations up there. So these two together, they changed the name of the company. So Johnson, right? Eldridge Johnson was the guy that was helping Berliner produce all this stuff and backing him. They called that the Consolidated Talking Machine Company is what it was. And I think Eldridge Johnson was still like the sole owner of that, but just using the patents of Berliner's. So it looks like they went through a bunch of reorganization. And so this is where it got interesting because like they changed so much stuff over like a 20-year period. So this was like in 1901. And then by like 1925, it was over because so like 20 years, they had like huge success, which I'll read some notes here. But yeah, these dudes just like popped off because they were just so, cutting edge. It says on here the phonographs were basically crude novelties, which neither sounded very good nor performed very reliably. Yeah, I always, like when you see those movies, like old movies, and they have this thing with the horn that's playing the disc, the record rather, it sounds like it's really bad. I mean, yeah. I don't think it would be like there's no bass or anything. It's just like, I don't know. People loved it though. That's what you had to do. That's what you had to do if you wanted to listen to some, your favorite artists or opera or whatever they listened to back then. But the 20s, dude, crazy time. So these two paired up, right? And then turned this business into like a huge success. Johnson started just like throwing out ads, everywhere. They rebranded. They had a cool logo with a dog, and everybody loves dogs. You see a dog on a logo, you're gonna be like, hell yeah. So on each one of their the machines, the Victrolas, they had their little logo, by the Victor Talking Machine Company, and then a picture of the little Victrola, and then there's a little dog. Aw, cute. So, this was all early 1900s. So 1901 was when they started, and dude, they took off. So from 1901 to 1905, they blew up. Like let me see, there's some numbers here. Because they were selling these things for like, at the time, what at the time it was like $200 or so was what they were selling for, and that was a lot. It says that equates to $5,700 around roughly these days. So from the early 1900s, late 1800s to today, $5,000. Like, would you pay $5,000? I mean, for a speaker? No way, dude. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I guess it was just like a cool new thing, right? So, this name, the Victrola, though, didn't come until like a couple years after they had actually started. It was like 1904, where they started to experiment with like new, making this more, convenient for the customers. So originally it was just this like box, like a wood box with like a handle, and you would like crank it right in between each song or each record. And so you'd have to crank it for it to spin, for it to play, and then it would just like blare out this big microphone that's up on the top, that is like a big horn. Kind of looks like a tuba up on top of or like a French horn, like the opening for a French horn is gigantic. So they were trying to make it more accessible and like, more appealing, because who wants this big ass horn just sitting in the corner of your, office or apartment or whatever. And it's also, what if you have a cat? What if you have a cat climb up there, dude? It's over for your Victrola. That's $5,000 right there. $200 at the time. That's a lot of money. So they ended up making a Victrola with a cabinet, so that the horn was facing downwards into this cabinet, and then you opened this top latch up, and then the record would sit right underneath that, and then the music would be playing downwards into this cabinet. And if you wanted to just open the doors, louder music, close the doors, it sounds a little bit muted, but at least that way you don't got some big ass horn that's just in the way, right? So you got a little cabinet, and you could store your records down there. Yeah, there you go. Selling it. Way to go, Johnson and Berliner. Killing the game in the Victrola market. But the earliest Victrolas were let me read a couple. There's 2 paragraphs right here that I was like, damn, that's insane. On how much this business just boomed. So the earliest Victrolas were designated by VTLA, abbreviation for Victrola, identification on the data plate. I guess that's what they called their logo, the data plate. It's a little metal plate. Like, you usually see it on like instrument cases too. If you ever were like in band or something, you have like a little plate that it has on there. Anyways, in 1907, the new Victor Victrola was being marketed as Victrola the 16th. Ooh, Victrola the 16th. I wonder why they chose 16. A model name which remained in use for the company's flagship model until 1921. Production ramped up quickly. The VTLA identification was eventually superseded by the Roman numerals. Wow, I cannot read today. With the Roman numerals VVXVI for Victrola, Victor Victrola 16. Cool. That looks way cooler. Just the Roman numerals VVXVI. Cool. On the data plate to better correspond with the Victrola the 16th designation used in the product brochures and advertising. Victor rapidly expanded its manufacturing operations to make the VVXVI cabinets in-house, and the services of Pulley were phased out. So Pulley looks like was what they called the flat top early Victrolas. Which, I don't know. People are going to complain about everything. It sounds like people were complaining that it was too annoying to reach into that like latch that had where you would put the record in. So they ended up changing the layout of it, and it was just a flat top. I guess that's cool. Anyways, so Pulley, that's what just a nickname for a type of Victrola, was phased out. Victor also catered to customers by adding an increasing array of finish choices, including oak, walnut, and even custom hand-painted versions. That'd be sick. Getting like your hand-painted version of a Victrola. Dude, collectors, these are like probably collectors items that sell for a lot of money, I bet. I wonder how much one would sell for right now. One of the OG, like 1902 Victrolas. Let's see. So let's continue this. Victor also experimented with selling an even more deluxe model, designated Victrola the 20th, okay, which sold for a whopping $300. Damn, son. So that would probably be what, like an extra like $2,500 or something, if we're just splitting that like 57 in half for the 200 and then adding that. Dang, dude, that's crazy. Featuring cross-cut veneers and gold trim on the cabinet. Hey, a little, give me a little, a little extra $100 and I get you a little gold trim on the cabinet. That's what they were saying. Only a few hundred of these only a few hundred of these models were produced before being quietly discontinued. Interesting. It's important to note that Victor continued to manufacture external horn machines up into the early 1920s, although in rapid diminishing numbers. Okay. So, yeah, Dude, nobody wants that big ass horn just sitting around in there. Now it's kind of cool because it's like, check this out. It's like an antique, but I don't know. What's the equivalent of that today? That's just like laying around your home that you're like, this big ass thing. You know what? Like wine holders. Wine holders that just sit out. Like we have one, but it's like just this big old thing. Like that is just out in the way. It's cool because the wine's out there and easily accessible, I guess. But I don't know. So let's see. So they continued to manufacture external horn machines up into the early 1920s, although in rapidly diminishing numbers. Total production of external horn models in 1905 was more than 65,000 units. By 1912, it had dropped to 19,000. So damn, they fell off a lot in what, 7 years. And that was in by 1912 it dropped to 19,000, and it fell just and it fell even more, 9,000 units in 1919. So yeah, apparently some customers preferred the older designs, but they were the small minority of buyers. So by 1911, Victrola had become the company's primary product line, with those cabinets, it sounds like. So Johnson knew he had struck gold with his Victrola. By 1909, approximately 15,000 16s had been sold at $200 each, and decided to capitalize on his success by introducing a lower price model. Smart man, smart move. The same year, the tabletop Victrola was introduced, selling for $125, a little more affordable, all right. The first attempt to make a smaller and less costly Victrola was not successful, as the horn opening in the cabinet was just too small for adequate volume in a large room. Makes sense. But for a single studio, hey, or a small apartment, might work out. In 1910, two new tabletop models replaced the 12, and the Victrola 10 and the Victrola 11. These tabletop models had much better performance than the 12 and began to sell quite well, even though the price was still prohibitive for many Americans. A smaller version of the Victrola, Roman numerals, XVI 16, was also introduced, named Victrola the 14th. Damn, dude. So they had like a shit ton of these things, just like slinging them left and right, all different prices. So, and different styles, different finishes, it looks like. So, hey, they're cool. They're really just capitalizing on their success here. Love to hear it. So, let's see. Where was I? So just to round off these, where was it? Gets into some more numbers. Oh yeah. In 1911, with an eye on the average family budget, Victor introduced several new low-price models. They're all in Roman numerals, but I'm just going to save you the hassle. It was the Victrola 4, the 6, and the 8, and the 9, with prices ranging from a remarkable $15 up to $50. Dang, that's crazy. That's very affordable. Then, shortly thereafter, the 10 and the 11 were converted from tabletop models to low-priced floor models, which soon became the biggest sellers on Victor's entire product lineup. Yo, that's crazy. That's just like everybody back then was like, hey, Victor's Victrola, keep it coming. I don't even care. Just like whatever it is, I'll eat it up. It's kind of like Kanye with all of his like Yeezy stuff and like the sandals. Like those sandals are whack, dude. They're not that cool, but people love them. Anyways. Let's see. The new low-priced talking machines were a smashing success. The annual Victrola production rose from several thousand per year in 1906 to approximately 250,000 annually by 1913. That's insane. That tells you a couple things, because I wonder, because who's buying all these? 250,000 of these annually? I mean, I guess, yeah, to have music and stuff in your home. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Well, the Victrola model lineup remained relatively unchanged through World War I. Several deluxe models were introduced in the mid to late teens, including the 18 and the 17 for $300 and $250 respectively. By 1917, Victor was making well over 500,000 Victrolas per year. So That number is just insane. I don't understand how they're just making so many of these. Like, do they only last like 2 months or something? You know, like you gotta purchase multiple of them in a couple of years, or like they're just pumping them out, and like, who are they selling these to? Like, is one person buying, like, I guess if you want one for like each room, right? Because you're not gonna move this big ass thing around. I don't think any of them had wheels. Let's see. Okay, so the model. There's so many Roman numerals. Let's see. The Model 11 floor model was the most popular of all. I don't even know which one that is anymore. Is it the one with the gold cabinets? Is it the one with the painting? Is it the one with the... What's going on? Floor model was the most popular of all, selling over 850,000 during its production run from 1910 to 1921. For the wealthy customer, Victrolas were also available in a variety of custom designs with hand-painted images, exotic wood, and Japanese lacquer finishes. Lacquer. Not sure what that is. Let's just look that up, because what is that? Lacquer. A liquid made of shellac dissolved in alcohol or of a synthetic substances that dries to form a hard protective coating for wood. Huh. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Oh, and then there's another one. The sap of the lacquer tree used to varnish wood or other materials. Okay. Well, whatever. Just some sort of a finishing touch. So you could get some lacquer, some Japanese lacquer finishes. These machines were produced in low quantities and are highly desirable today. Even today, see? Collector's items. While several strong competitors were still present in 1917, Victor was now the elephant in the room. Nice. When it came to the phonograph sales and marketing, stockholders nobody else came close. Victrola had become a household word. Company profits were incredible, and the lucky few businessmen who were stockholders became immensely wealthy. This is insane right here. In 1919, Eldridge Johnson's wealth was estimated at over 37. It says, I think it's just a typo or the comma went in the wrong spot, but it looks like it's 37 billion. I don't know about that. I think it's probably, if you move the comma over, maybe like 3,700,000. Yeah, probably more like that. But 3 million, I don't know, because he was making some money off these. If they made it said they made 500,000 over a couple of years, or in 1 year, by like the mid 19, like in the teens, like 1915 or whatever. That would be a lot of money. How much is that? Like 19, let's see. Quick maths. 500,000. And if we say that it's going to be multiplied by, on average, let's see. So they range so much, right? The price. But if we say on average $100, let's say for that 500,000, that'd be $50 million. If they were like all selling for 100, but they weren't. Some were $15 and some were 300, you know, but I wonder. Anyways, so it might be 37 million, or would I say 37 billion? No, yeah. No, for sure. Okay. 37 million. I could see him making $37 million. Yeah. Okay. That makes more sense. The zeros are just in the wrong place. The commas are in the wrong place. But let's see. Then this says, oh yeah, because I guess I should just read the whole sentence, which equates to over $500 million today. That's insane. Victor Camden, New Jersey plant grew. The New Jersey plant grew into an enormous complex of buildings, including their own train yard and power plant. Pretty good for a machinist who struggled to survive in 1899. Yeah, damn. That's a story right there. You imagine that? You just got a shop. You're working on like making different machines. And then all of a sudden some dude is like, yo, I have an idea. Help me out with this. We're going to make these things so that people could play music inside their homes. And then he was like, all right. And then he made $37 million in 20 years. That's wild. But it's not all this, not all sunshine and rainbows. So they kept killing the business, the Victrola game, for several years. And then it sounds like, like I mentioned earlier, like in the 1920s, they started to fall off because of the radio, dude. So by 1924, Victor realized that radio was a serious threat and half-heartedly offered a few phonographs with the S prefix before the model identification that would allow an aftermarket radio to be installed in the phonograph cabinet alongside the turntable. So he was like, maybe I could still, because they were on their way out, these big ass Victrolas with the big horns and stuff. But let's see. So in 1924, the bottom literally fell out of the phonograph business. By Christmas of that year, many tens of thousands of unsold Victrolas were sitting in a warehouse. Damn, bummer. Why were they? See, they shouldn't have been pumping out 500,000 of them a year. Retail sales had dwindled to a trickle. Customers passed over obsolete Victrolas in favor of a modern and impressive radio. That damn radio. The company's operating cash had also evaporated. Panic set in at the Victor's corporate office, and production lines were suddenly shut down with a huge layoff of workers. Damn, that sucks for all those workers, dude. That sucks. But so they moved the massive inventory of warehouse machines. A highly publicized sale was held during the summer of 1925, wherein every unsold Victrola would be offered at half the list price. Both dealers and company ate the financial losses. A lot of yada, yada, yada. And then there was something that I read in here that, like, people were just... So, let's see. Okay. Oh, here it is. Dealers who had sold an elegant VV125 to a customer for $275 early in that same year, 1924, would offer only $25 for the same model. That sucks, dude. Depreciation. To boost radio sales, some dealers would hold trade-in bonfires. The nearly worthless inventory of Victrola trade-ins would be burned in a public square as an advertising campaign. Damn, dude. Yeah, that sucks. So, and then obviously this created bad press for the company. Victor stock had become virtually worthless by the spring of 1925. Dude, bummer. And any remaining machines that were not sold at half price sale were either destroyed or shipped off to Central and South America to be dumped in those markets. Yeah, way to go, US of A. Just dump your problems somewhere else. In order to survive, Victor started making various furniture and flooring products. Any idea that could make some money was considered. Yeah, dude. So it was a good run. It was a good run for Mr. Johnson and Mr. Berliner, but eventually, all good things must come to an end. Like this podcast. Thank you for coming down the rabbit hole with me. Just kidding. We're not quite done yet because we do have the GDO playlist for the week. And, just going down that rabbit hole made me wonder, like, what would the music be playing? Like, what music would they be playing in one of these? Like if I was back in 1915 or 1909 or whatever, what would I be jamming out to? And so I, just looked up some artists from back in the days and gonna put a little playlist together. What you guys know? What you know about? What you know about rolling? Not that song. What you know about Jelly Roll Morton, dude? Or Fletcher Henderson? Huh? I don't know. I don't really know much, but I was listening to some of their tunes, and dude, it's kind of crazy. Some of these artists, like, it's like these. Not all songs were like singing, but it's more just like jazz, just instruments. But some of these people, super, super talented, and it's just like makes you think. I wonder, like, if those same people were around today, making music, would we think that it's as good? Because that was like back in the days where, they didn't have like big speaker systems and stuff like we do now. Like if you go to a concert, there's just gigantic speakers. But So they had to just like, yell in like a loud, in a room full of people just like singing hella loud. Um, yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'm rambling. But anyways, check out that playlist. It'll be in the description of the episode here. Thanks for tagging along. Thanks for listening to me ramble. And there's a little bit, a little tidbit of information and some random facts for you. But all right, until next time, love you all. Bye.